Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Tasha. Uh, so thanks for joining us today. It's the first edition of the list, and coincidentally, almost all the entrepreneurs in the governments are in World Economic Forum Davos today. And I was listening to some of these speeches, and one of the speech one of the during one of these sessions by the Canadian Premier, everybody said the world is going through a rupture and not a transition. And this sort of perfects, sums up the mode of what it is the world today. It is turbulence, chaos, uncertainty, it's all. So this list in many ways is being released at this momentous time, and that's exactly why it matters. Impedance that does the future of economy of the world, it depends heavily on the next wave of young leadership. Not because they are always visible, but because they sit at the intersection of capital, employment, technology, and decision making. The Avendus Wealth from the U40 List 2025 identifies that group of the decade. You'd be corrected. The Avendus Wealth Hurun India Youth Series List, which is a combination of U40s, U35, and U30s, identify the group for this decade. And it is very important to explain the methodology of the list and why it is unique and what we want to achieve through the list. The methodology sort of explains that. So there are three categories. One is the U40, of course, U35 and U30, and as the numbers indicates, that's age 40 and under, age 35 and age 30 and respectively. But one very important parameter that it added to the mix is the threshold to of the valuation through which one should find a place in our list. For example, for someone to enter the U40 list, if it's a first generation entrepreneur, they should have built a business worth at least $100 billion. And if someone for the next generation, that number goes up to 200 billion plus. Now coming down to U35, that number is for the first generation about 50 million US, and the next generation is $100 billion. And for U30, it is 25 million for the first generation at $50 million for the next generation. So it's strictly based on the valuation numbers, and we thought this would give a sort of an objective lens to how the young wealth creation is spread across. And I'm very proud to say that this could possibly be the largest research platform spotlighting India's youngest bright minds, and it's crucially important because it puts the spotlight on both the first gen and the next gen entrepreneurs out of what heads. The list is targeted at three powerful audiences in the Hurun ecosystem. One is rich listers, because we want them to invest directly or indirectly into these young businesses. The India 500 leaders, because they need young entrepreneurs for the next phase of growth and vice versa. And the last stakeholder, which is a government, it is very important that governments of various state governments understand and know about these entrepreneurs and engage with them very early on for their respective states. And what makes this Avendus Wealth Hurun India Youth Series this very unique is that it's a global platform. Anyone who enters the Avendus Wealth Hurun India Youth Series, whether it's U40, U35, U30, they enter the global alliance of other Hurun lists. For example, we publish a UK Youth Series, we publish Australia Youth Series, we published China Youth Series, and so on. So last year alone, around 2005, the young leaders and entrepreneurs entered across various the youth series that was published globally. So Avendus Wealth Hurun India Youth Series list gives an opportunity for the India's young leaders and entrepreneurs to cross-pollinate and enter about of global ranks. So in 10 years from now, we believe this cohort globally will be about 100,000 people. And in this world, which is increasingly disjointed and turbulent, this community, when it becomes powerful and influential, can be a ray of hope through collaboration, capital, and leadership. Let's look at some of the statistics of the list. The total number of entrants in the U40, U35 to U40 is about 436 across categories. U40 alone is about 201. The combined enterprise valuation of all these companies led by the entrepreneurs from U40, 35, 30 is about almost $1 trillion. They employ more than 1.2 billion people. And this workforce is larger than population in many states. And to give you a split up of the first gen and the next generation, almost 80% of the list, the overall list is the first gen, and rest is next gen at a 4:1 ratio. But one interesting area where I need to catch up is in the number begin. The women cohort is about 36 women, is foreign men upper. But this would give you a perspective of how this plays out with the rest of the countries. For example, in China, youth series. In the U30, U35 and U40 respectively, we have 27, 38, 29 women. In the UK, it's 21, 10 and 0. And India, it's 6, 15 and 15. So we have much better representation in a country like UK, but then we catch up when it comes to compared to countries like China. Education pipeline, IITs are going to contribute, like the other list, towards most of the admins in the U series. The top sectors, we have individuals and young leaders coming from all the sectors, software services, financial services, healthcare, consumer goods, all these sectors. It clearly shows that India's leadership is firing from all cylinders. What it does, you can answer that the Avendus Wealth in the youth series list is that almost 30% of this overall list have some sort of focus on AI, either developing individual companies or having a sort of strategy towards building AI into their post. Geographical hubs, Bangalore seems to be number one, followed by Mumbai and Delhi. The way we look at various these cohorts, when I look at U30 founders, Avendus Wealth U30 founders, 60% are either Series A or Series B, and only 40% is listed. And look at the Avendus Wealth U35 founders, 50% is late stage, about 33% listed. At U40, half of them are late stage and 33% listed. So that's what means the Avendus the U40 even most special and stronger because they have to report quarterly results, they have to answer the public shareholders, you have to operate in a regulatory scrutiny, you have to manage large, complex organizations. Blisters, the U40 cohort is not aspirational, but absolutely executionally operational. So, why would this list matter? They matter because these entrepreneurs track the future IPO pipelines. They face the government scrutiny. They continue to allocate billions of others. For example, one of the entrants in the U40 list, they want to speak or not appear today that they're going to invest about 50,000 crores of the 5,000. 10,000 crores across the various states in the next couple of years. So it's coming from young leaders who are very aspirational, who wants to play a more meaningful role from a unique context. It would shift India's corporate culture, and with all of us working hard, if we can exclude the global alliance, it's even one of the strongest young leader community in the world. So this really is not a list about age or age people. It's really about entrepreneurs who are executing or exercise their economic responsibility before 40. It's not really about being cool in a superficial way. It is relevant because of the consequence. The Avendus Wealth Hurun Youth Series thus brings together youth, scale, capital, and accountability. These leaders under 40 are already shaping India's growth trajectory for the next decade. That's why the list matters, and that's why it's worth speaking about and to be spotlight on. And I'm really grateful to Avendus Wealth and Apurva for this wonderful partnership on this. So when I came to India about 13 years back, I was around 28 years old back. I definitely would not have qualified to the list at then, but when I was starting out, I was talking to the entrepreneurs. One of the interesting things at that point that was discussed in the group was about Avendus. They were saying, that is young, it is growing up and it's capturing a lot of spotlight. And from there to now, to become one of the most trusted financial services organizations in the country, it's no mean feat. And that makes Avendus one of the natural partners for us to work with in terms of building this together. Even if I were to make a guess, and I could very well be right about this guess, if I have to make a guess that to the entire youth series list of the companies who would have raised capital, I can make a very affirmative, positive guess that 75% of this company, that's more than that, would have some kind of having this as role in it, for sure. And which to me it means that as an organization in next DNA, they would have seen the growth of these companies across their life cycles, right? From seed stage, Series A to IPO to acquisitions and so on. That's why this partnership was super meaningful for Hurun, and we could not have thought about a better partner. So thank you very much for the partnership. And once again, thank you all for joining us today. We congratulate all the Avendus Wealth Hurun youth series offerings today. It is such a pleasure to come back to you after in 2026. This is our first press conference. I wish you all a great 2026 and look forward to meeting you after the PC. Thank you. Cheers.